The whole point of private labeling is to get started with minimal investment, minimal quantities. So don't overthink it and don't be too afraid. You are going to learn more once you've launched. Let yourself take this opportunity and dive right in. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Beauty Beneath podcast, where we take a deep dive into the beauty industry and explore tips, the latest trends, and insight into how to grow your business. I'm your host, Andrea, and today we're going to be talking about practical steps to launching your brand through private labeling. This is really exciting because this is what we do at Spa de Soleil every day, and this is where we see clients really grow. This is going to be really relevant for estheticians, spa salon owners, beauty enthusiasts, and influencers who have a really strong following and feel passionately about this industry. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first step that we're going to start with is defining our why. This is going to be essential because if you have your why, if you know why you're going to start your brand in the first place, this is going to be your anchor. Like everything in life, nothing is easy, right? When we start a new venture, when we're going to open up a new business, no matter the industry, eventually we're going to face some obstacles, some roadblocks. Nothing is smooth sailing. All new beginnings are a little hard. But the goal here is to make it as seamless and pain-free as possible. And if we know why we're doing something, if we have real purpose behind what we're doing, that is when we're really able to navigate through the difficult situations and get back to the important work that we need to do in order to accomplish our goals. So the why is going to be your anchor. Write it down, reference it anytime the going gets tough. Let's go through some examples of why someone might want to start a brand. Say you are a spa owner or an esthetician and you have a really strong client base and your name is already out there and you're really tired of promoting other brands with the products that you sell for home use. You're promoting your services, you're trying to get people through your door, you want to get your name out there, yet what's on your shelves? What are people going to buy when they're done with their treatment? Someone else's brand, someone else's name, where you don't even really control the price point. So at this point, that's a good reason for why you would want to start your own brand. That way you can promote your business further through your products as well, not just your treatments, and have more control over your pricing. Now, let's say you are a content creator and you have a really, really strong following and you're really passionate about the beauty industry. Maybe you are dealing with a skin concern and you haven't really found a product in the market that does it right, and you can do it better. This is going to be a great reason for why you would start your own brand. You have a community, you've cultivated loyalty and trust, and this is an excellent way to engage with them further and to really delve into a passion of yours and to pour yourself into something that you believe in and love, but at the same time, elevate your business. Now that we've set our why, we can go to the next step, which is defining our what. What is our brand identity? What are we telling people? You can be a brand that's very focused on being eco-friendly and sustainable and focus on things like non-GMO, vegan, cruelty-free. You can be a brand that's really focused on body positivity and a more holistic approach to self-care. You can be a brand that's really focused on sun care, or a brand that's really invested in scientific research, or a brand that's really invested in dealing with only natural ingredients. Every brand has a different story to tell, and that is going to be your identity. So you have to figure out who you are, who your brand is, and what people are going to be hearing when you present your brand in front of them. So think about this, like if my brand had a voice, what would it be saying? What would it sound like? Is it hip and trendy and bold? Is it going to sound like a sophisticated, elevated, luxurious voice? Or is it super down to earth, eco-friendly, really caring about sustainability? Every brand tells a different story, and the power of storytelling is going to be one of the factors that really sets you up for success. Keep in mind that over time, brands evolve. I always say this because I believe that it is so true. You learn most once you launch. Your launch is your greatest growth opportunity. You're going to get feedback. You're going to actually be in the trenches doing the work, and you're going to learn what's working, what's not working. So while it is very important to have a strong story and brand identity before you launch, you also want to allow yourself the flexibility to evolve and let your brand be this living, breathing thing that develops with time. I know many clients that launched with one concept and one story, and after some time in the market, getting feedback and understanding who they're talking to and what's resonating with their audience, that's when they realize, oh, my brand story is actually more so this than that. And it really just guides them and directs them toward a future that is very much in tune with their brand identity. So allow yourself that room to grow. Now, we just touched upon the next step that we need to take care of before we launch a brand: identifying your target audience. You need to know who you're speaking to before you get started. I have my why, I have my identity. Who's hearing me? Who does this matter to? Knowing your audience is key because that is going to allow you to tell your story in a way that resonates with them. Put yourself up in places where they're shopping. Put your MSRPs at a point that is feasible to them. Knowing who is listening to you and who you're appealing to is extremely important before you get started. Learn about what your audience needs, learn about where they shop, learn about what they're spending on the average product and what problems they need solved. How is your brand helping them in a practical way? When you define your audience, it's going to help you set your marketing materials up, and it's going to lean into some advertising later on down the line. This is very, very important. Once you've done that, now we have the last piece that we need before we actually start the work of production or choosing our products. We need to engage in market research. It's great to know who you are and who you're speaking to and why you're doing this, but you have to be cognizant about what's happening in the industry around you. You're going to be doing some analysis on your competitors. Brands that are trying to tell the same story. What are they doing? Where are they selling? You are going to look at price points. You are going to look at trends in the market. You need to engage in this research to help set yourself up in a position that is in tune with the climate around you. When we think about where we want to sell our products, this is going to be different for every brand owner. If you are a spa, salon, esthetician that has a physical place, it's going to be very practical to start selling in your shop, in your facility, because you are going to leverage the foot traffic that's already coming in, and you are going to be using your services and your treatment as a place to start the sales journey. If you are a brand owner that isn't in this space, you are going to be probably looking at either brick and mortar opportunities with different retailers, boutiques, pop-ups, or you are going to be looking at your own e-commerce platform or maybe some third-party platforms like Amazon. So it's really important to know where you're going to be selling your products. Where is your brand going to live? Our very last piece here, once we've done all this work, is setting up a budget. When you know the framework within which you are going to be comfortable starting this journey, you're going to be minimizing your risk. It's also going to help you align with partners that can deliver products to you within your budget. Having a budget is going to be helpful in navigating this whole process. So please do not skip that step. It is very, very crucial for you to make sure that you're starting this journey and you're not going to find yourself later on down the line trying to purchase products that you just can't afford at this time. This is going to be an investment in your brand, and it has to be a smart one and a feasible one. Okay, we've done a lot of groundwork. We have really covered all our bases, and we are coming to the point where we know why we're here, who we're talking to, what we stand for. We've done our research. We know where we're going to live, and we have our budget. Let's get into the actual meat of it. getting started. Step 1, create your name and your logo. This is going to tie into your brand identity. This is going to be how you start telling your story about who your brand is. Your brand name, the way you look, the way you present yourself. Think about it as a first date. When you go on a first date, you want to look your best self. You always want to look your best self, right? That's why we're in this industry to begin with. So understand that your name and your aesthetic is going to be telling off that story from the first nanosecond that somebody sees your brand. You can utilize platforms like Canva or Hatchful to get started, or you can turn to platforms like Fiverr or Upwork for some affordable solutions and people that really know how to create a logo for you. Step 2, find your partner. This is going to be your manufacturer that's offering private label services. Now let's take a quick step back here. Why are we looking for manufacturers that offer private label? Because that is going to help us get started with minimal risk, minimal budget, minimal inventory. The private label solution allows me to take formulas that are already tested and already existing and go to market with them with my brand name. So I don't have to spend ample time in R&D or testing phases. This is going to allow me also to engage with lower minimums so that I don't have overstock before I know how my sales are going to go. You're going to look for a manufacturer that has low MOQs, that has a strong private label program, competitive pricing, responsive communication, relatively short lead times. These are all things to consider when choosing your manufacturer. Other things to consider is, do they have design services? Do they offer regulatory work? If you're a brand that's really about sustainability and something that's very important to you is something like a USDA certification, do they help you with that? Are they going to partner with you in terms of helping you navigate getting a vegan certification, a non-GMO certification? You want to make sure that your manufacturer is responsive and really helps you through the process. Step 3, select your product. This is going to be when you're going through the manufacturer's catalog, going through their product offering, which products is going to help keep telling that story about your brand. If you are a brand that's really focused on anti-aging, then you're going to be dealing with products like retinol and glycolic acid and peptides and squalene and things that help with fine lines and wrinkles. If you are a brand that's really about sun protection, then find products that are going to offer sun protection, if it's an SPF moisturizer or things like that. So align your product with the story that you're trying to tell. Now, make sure that these products are quality. Just because we're private labeling and we're not customizing the formula from scratch does not mean that the quality isn't there. There are so many products available within private label programs that are actually efficacious and really do what they say they're going to do. Look at the labels, identify the hero ingredients, and make sure that you try these products, you test them, you love them, and you are really, really passionate about them, because that is going to help you sell them. In the sampling phase, I often encourage my clients to not be the sole tester of the product. Invite a friend over, turn to your partner, get some opinion. Do they like how it feels? Do they like how it smells? And do they like what it's doing for their skin? You don't have to have a 50-person panel, but you definitely need to make sure that the product aligns with your story and that you have multiple opinions about the experience. Step 4, select your packaging. A lot of times manufacturers will have some stock packaging available that you can choose from, and that's a really easy way to go about it. But not all times will manufacturers have an aesthetic of packaging that matches your brand identity or your story or your overall look. There are a lot of resources for you, local companies in the US that offer packaging at lower minimums. You can get a bit closer to your overall aesthetic through utilizing these companies. With private labeling, we do need to understand that we are sacrificing a bit of the customization, but we're doing so for the sake of starting with lower risk and lower quantities. Your packaging, your design tells your customers who you are. So when you're selecting your packaging, you also need to start thinking, what is my label going to look like? How is it going to sit on this component? Is it going to be a wraparound label, a front and back label? Am I going to have a box to it, an insert? Start building the whole design of each product that you are selecting and really transfer that image over to your manufacturer so that they could help you facilitate that. Next, we're going to work on product descriptions, directions for how to use the product, and logos that are going to be sitting on our label. Ask your manufacturer, what is the proper fill weight to declare on your label? What are the directions of use? Once you receive the product description and the directions of use from your manufacturer, do not use that. Change it. Make sure that the way it sounds like your brand, is telling the story that your brand is trying to tell. When you copy paste from your manufacturer, you're not staying true to your brand identity. And that's not going to transfer over well to your clients. You want to be genuine and you want to be yourself through and through. So take the product description that your manufacturer gives you and change it to sound like you, even the directions. It's so important that every step of this process has your unique identity coming through. Logos. What logos are we putting on our label? Is it made in the US? Is it cruelty-free? Is it vegan? Is it non-GMO? Is it USDA certified? Is it all natural? There are so many different certifications and logos out there. Talk to your manufacturer about what is applicable to your products. Sometimes you don't need all these logos. You can just utilize free of claims. A lot of our products carry paraben-free, sulfate-free, mineral oil-free, dye-free. The list goes on and on and on. So have a good conversation with your manufacturer about what is applicable to your product and use that for your marketing, use that for your label. Our next step here is to determine our MSRP. This is very important for your brand because this is going to determine your profit margin, how profitable your business is going to be. Think about this very thoroughly. Where are you selling? What is your demographic spending on products? And where do you need to be to hit your margins? Setting up your MSRP is planning out your business in the long run. You don't want to be wishy-washy with your MSRPs. You can ask your manufacturer for advice, but ultimately this comes down to who you are, where you're selling, and who you're catering to. So figure out your MSRPs. That is going to help you build a strong business moving forward. Last and final step, and this may be the most exciting step. Place your PO and go to production. There are going to be a lot of things that you're doing while your products are getting produced. Don't think that now it's all done and you get to sit back and relax. No, the work continues. But once you've selected your products, your packaging, you've finalized your design, you know your MSRPs, and you know where you're selling your products, go ahead and get started. The whole point of private labeling is to get started with minimal investment, minimal quantities. So don't overthink it and don't be too afraid. You are going to learn more once you've launched. Let yourself take this opportunity and dive right in. And with that, congratulations, you've launched your beauty brand. It is going to be an amazing journey ahead, lots of learning and lots of growth. You've figured out all the right boxes to check before ever getting started, and now you can go to market with confidence. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know if you have any questions or thoughts on the process. As a manufacturer that's been in the industry for over 30 years, this is our passion, seeing our clients start small and grow steadily. We're here to help you navigate that journey. So use your manufacturer's expertise along the road. Thank you for listening to the Beauty Beneath podcast. I'm your host, Andrea, and remember, it's not just skincare, it's a skin lifestyle.